Hello everyone, welcome back to IGCSE Science Academy. If you are preparing for FPSC TGT Biology, then this video is exactly what you need. In today's video, I am bringing you a complete MCQs master guide covering the most important and repeated questions from Ecology, Cytology and Genetics. These are the topics that frequently appear in exams, so don't skip this. This guide includes 100 most repeated and expected MCQs with explanation. Whether you are revising or starting fresh, this session will help you boost your score. Let's start. First, let's discuss about ecology. Ecology is the branch of biology that studies how living organisms interact with each other and with their environment. Environment, ecosystem, and interaction. It's look at relationship between ecosystem structure, food chain and webs, energy flow, biogeochemical cycle, population, ecology, succession, biomes, pollution and conservation. So the first question is from ecology. Which term describes all the organisms living in a particular area along with their physical environment? The answer is option C, ecosystem. Explanation: an ecosystem includes both the biotic community, all living organisms, and the abiotic environment, soil, water, air, temperature. A population is one species, a community is all species together. A biome is a large-scale ecosystem type. So with this explanation, you can complete 2 to 3 MCQs. Question 2. In a food chain, which organisms occupy the first trophic level? It's option C, producers, plants. Explanation: producers, green plants, autotrophs always occupy the first trophic level. They capture solar energy via photosynthesis. Herbivores are second, primary carnivores are third, and apex carnivores are fourth trophic level. Question 3. The 10% law of energy transfer in ecosystem was proposed by? It's option B, Lindemann. Correct explanation: Raymond Lindemann 1942 proposed the 10% law. Only about 10% of energy is transferred from one trophic level to the next. 90% is lost as heat, respiration and waste. Odom studies ecosystem ecology. Translate coined ecosystem. Haeckel coined ecology. Question 4. Which biogeochemical cycle does not have a significant atmospheric reservoir? It's option C, phosphorus cycle. Explanation: the phosphorus cycle lacks a gaseous atmospheric phase. Phosphorus is cycled primarily through rocks, soil and water. In contrast, carbon dioxide, nitrogen and sulfur dioxide all have important atmospheric components. Question 5. Which type of ecological succession begins on a bare rock or newly formed land with no previous soil? It's option C, primary succession. Explanation: primary succession begins on bare substrate, bare rock, lava flow, sand dune where no soil exists. Pioneer organisms like lichens and mosses first colonize. Secondly, succession occurs after disturbance of existing community where all soil remains. Question 6. The relationship between clownfish and sea anemone is an example of? Its option C, mutualism. Explanation: clownfish anemone is mutualism. Both benefits. The clownfish gets shelter protection. The anemone benefits from better circulation and removal of parasite. Mutualism: both commensalism. One benefits, other uninfected. Parasitism: one benefits, other harmed. Question 7. The concentration of DDT increase at each succession trophic levels in a food chain. This phenomena is called option A, biomagnification. Explanation: biomagnification, biological magnification is the increasing concentration of toxic substances at higher trophic level. Bioaccumulation is accumulation within one organism. Eutrophication is excessive nutrient enrichment of water bodies. DDT is a classic example of biomagnification. Question 8. Which of the following is a density-independent factor that limits population growth? It's option C, earthquake or flood. Explanation: density-independent factors affect population regardless of their density. Natural disasters, earthquakes, flood, fire, extreme temperature are classic examples. Food availability, disease, and competition are density-dependent. Their effect intensifies as population density increases. Question 9. The term ecology was coined by, its option B, Ernst Haeckel. Explanation: Ernst Haeckel, a German biologist, coined the term ecology in 1866 from Greek okios means house or home plus logos means study. A.G. Tinsley coined ecosystem in 1935. Darwin is known for evolution and Linnaeus for taxonomy. Question 10. Excessive addition of nutrients, nitrate, phosphates to water body causing algal blooms is called, option C, eutrophication. Explanation: eutrophication is the process of nutrient enrichment, especially nitrogenous and phosphorus of water bodies, leading to algal blooms. When algae die, decomposes, use up oxygen, causing hypoxia, dead zones. It commonly results from agriculture runoff and sewage discharge. Question 11. Which biome is characterized by permafrost, very low temperature, and sparse vegetation like mosses and lichens? It's option B, tundra. Explanation: tundra is characterized by permafrost, permanently frozen subsoil, very short growing season, low biodiversity, and vegetation mainly composed of mosses, lichens, sedges, and dwarf shrubs. Taiga boreal forest has coniferous trees and is just south of tundra. Question 12. The pyramid of energy is always, option B, upright. Explanation: the pyramid of energy is always upright because energy always decreases from producers to consumers. 10% law. Unlike biomass of number pyramid which can be inverted, energy pyramids can never be inverted since you cannot have more energy at a higher tropic level. Next topic from today's lesson, that is cytology. So what does cytology mean? It is the branch of biology that studies cells, their structure, function and composition. So here we will complete cell theory, prokaryotes, eukaryotes, cell organelles, cell membrane, mitosis, meiosis, cell cycle, osmosis and diffusion. Question 1. Who proposed the cell theory that all cells arise from pre-existing cells? Omnicelluli cellula. It's option C, Rudolf Virchow. Explanation: Rudolf Virchow, 1855, added the third tenet of cell theory, omnicelluli cellula. All cells arises from pre-existing cells. Sheldon, plants and Sauvage animals established that all living things are made of cells, 1838 to 39. Hooke first observed cells in cork in 1665. Question 2. Which organelle is called the powerhouse of the cell? It's option C, mitochondria. Explanation: mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cells. They produce ATP through cellular respiration, Krebs cycle plus oxidative phosphorylation. They have a double membrane. The inner membrane is highly folded into crusty. They also contain their own DNA supporting the endosymbiotic theory. Question 3. The cell organelle responsible for protein synthesis is the, option B, ribosomes. Explanation: ribosomes are the sites of protein synthesis. Translation: they are made of rRNA and proteins. rRNA means ribosomal RNA and exist as ATs in eukaryotes, 60s plus 40s subunits and 70s in prokaryotes, 50s plus 30s subunits. This difference is the basic for many antibiotics that target bacterial ribosomes. Question 4. Which phase of mitosis is characterized by the alignments of chromosomes at the cell's equatorial plate? It's option C, metaphase. Explanation: in metaphase, chromosomes align at the metaphase plate, equatorial plate in the center of the cell. Spindle fibers attach to kinetochores. This is the best phase to count chromosome and study karyotypes. Prophase chromosomes condense, anaphase chromatids separate, telophase nuclear envelope reforms. Question 5. Meiosis results in the formation of, its option C, 4 haploid cells. Explanation: meiosis produces 4 genetically unique haploid cells from one diploid. Meiosis I, reductional division separates homologous chromosomes. Meiosis II, equivaginal division separates sister chromatids. This halving of chromosomes number is essential for sexual reproduction. Question 6. Which type of cell junction allows direct communication between adjacent cells through protein channels? It's option C, gap junctions. Explanation: gap junctions consist of connexin proteins forming channels, connexons that directly connect cytoplasm of adjacent cells, allowing passage of ions and small molecules. Tight junctions prevent leakage between cells. Desmosis and adherence junction provide mechanical strength. Question 7. The movement of water from region of lower solute concentration to higher solute concentration through a semi-permeable membrane is called, option C, osmosis. Explanation: osmosis is the passive movement of water molecules through a semi-permeable membrane from a region of high water potential to low solute concentration is equal to hypotonic to low water potential. High solute concentration is equal to hypertonic. It's require no energy and follows the concentration gradient of water. Please do not skip the explanation. Through this explanation, you can cover 2 to 3 more MCQs. Question 8. Lysosomes are called suicidal bag of the cells because they, it's option B, contain digestive enzymes that can destroy the cell. Explanation: lysosomes contain over 60 hydrolytic digestive enzymes hydrolysis that work in acidic pH to 5. If the lysosomal membrane ruptures, these enzymes are released into the cytoplasm and digest cell components. Hence, suicidal bags, they function in autophagy, phagocytosis, and apoptosis. Question 9. Which of the following is absent in prokaryotic cells? Is option C, membrane-bound nucleus. Explanation: prokaryotes lack a membrane-bound nucleus. Their DNA is found in the nucleotide region without a nuclear envelope. They also lack membrane-bound organelles. Mitochondria are Golgi. They do have ribosomes, 70s, cell membrane, cell wall usually, and GNA circular chromosomes. Question 10. During which stage of the cell cycle does DNA replication occur? It's option B, synthesis phase, it's S phase. Explanation: DNA replication occurs during the S synthesis phase of interphase. The cell cycle: G1 growth, protein synthesis; 2 synthesis, DNA replication, chromosomes duplication; G2 preparation for division, organelle replication; M mitosis, meiosis. After S phase, each chromosome has 2 identical sister chromatids. Question 12. Crossing over during meiosis occurs in which substage of prophase 1? It's option C, phagetin. Explanation: crossing over, exchange of chromosomal segments between non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes occur during phagetin stage of prophase 1. The site of crossing over is called a chiasma, plural chiasmata. This generates genetic recombination and is visible in diplotin as chiasmata. Next topic is genetics. So let's discuss about genetics. What is genetics? Genetics is the branch of biology that studies how traits are passed from parents to offspring. Heredity, DNA, and molecular biology. Here we will cover Mendel's laws, DNA structure, chromosomal inheritance, mutation, blood groups, genetic disorders, molecular genetics, and biotechnology. Question 1 from genetics, that is Mendel's law of segregation states that its option B, two alleles for each trait separates during gamete formation. Explanation, law of segregation. First law, the two alleles for a character segregate separate during gametes formation so that each gamete carries only one allele. This is because homologous chromosome separates during meiosis 1. The other option describes the law of independence assortment, which is second law. The double helix structure of DNA was proposed by its option B, Watson and Crick. Explanation, James Watson and Crick proposed the double helix model of DNA in 1953 using X-ray crystallography data from Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins. Chargaff's established base pairing rules: adenine is equal to thymine, guanine is equal to cytosine. Avery et al. 1944 proved DNA is the genetic material using transformation experiments. Question 3. According to Chargaff's rule, if DNA contains 30% adenine, what is the percentage of guanine? It's option B, 20%. Explanation, Chargaff's rule, A is equal to T and G is equal to C base pairing rules. If A is equal to 30%, then T is equal to 30% as A is equal to T. Total A plus T is equal to 60%. Remaining 40% for guanine plus cytosine combined. Since guanine is equal to C each 20%, therefore guanine is equal to 20%. This calculation G is equal to C is equal to 100. A, A percentage and T percentage divided by 2 is equal to 100 minus 30 divided by 2 is equal to 20%. So this is the calculation. Please don't skip the explanation. By explanations you can complete or you can cover 2 or 3 more MCQs. Question 4. Which genetic disorder is caused by the presence of an extra chromosome 21? It's option C, Down syndrome. Explanation, Down syndrome trisomy 21 is caused by 3 copies of chromosome 21 2 and is equal to 47 instead of 46. Features include intellectual disability, flat facial profile, and increased risk of heart defects. Klinefelter XXY male, Turner XO female, Pato trisomy 13. Most cases result from non-disjunction. Question 5. Hemophilia is a sex-linked recessive disorder. A carrier mother, XHSH, and normal father will produce what percentage of hemophilic sons? It's option C, 50%. Explanation, mother is X capital H and X capital small h, carrier father is XHY normal, cross XHXH and XHY sons recessive Y from father and either XH normal or XH hemophilic from mother. 50:50 chances of 50% of sons will be hemophilic. Overall 25% of all offsprings are hemophilic sons. Sex-linked genes are located on X chromosomes. Question 6. The ABO blood group system in human is an example of its option D, both codominants and multiple alleles. So explanation, ABO blood groups demonstrate both multiple alleles, 3 alleles for one gene in the population, and codominants are both expressed equally in AB blood. type neither dominant over other. This is a classic genetic example. I is recessive both IA and IB. Question 7. A change in a single base pair of a DNA is called its option C point mutation. Explanation. A point mutation gene mutation involves a change in a single nucleotide base pair. Type substitution, transversion or transition, which may be silent, missense or nonsense mutation. Frame-shift mutation involves insertion deletion of nucleotides not multiples of 3 that shift the reading frame. Point mutation can cause disease like sickle cell anemia. Question 8. The concept of one gene, one enzyme hypothesis was given by its option B. Bedell and Totem. Explanation. George Bedell and Edward Totem 1941 proposed the one gene, one enzyme hypothesis based on experiments which Neurospora crassa bred mold. They used X-ray induced mutation to show each gene control one enzyme in a metabolic pathway, later revised to one gene. One polypeptide is not all proteins are enzyme. Question 9. In a test cross, an organism with non-genotype is crossed with its option C, homozygous recessive. Explanation. A test crosses the organism of unknown genotype with a homozygous recessive, that is TT. If any recessive offspring appears, the unknown is heterozygous TT. If all offspring show dominant phenotype, the unknown is homozygous dominant TT. This is used to determine genotype of an organism showing dominant phenotype. Question 10. Which enzyme is responsible for adding nucleotides to the growing DNA strand during replication? It's option C, DNA polymerase 3. Explanation. DNA polymerase 3 is the main enzyme that adds nucleotides 5 to 3 direction during DNA replication in prokaryotes. Helicase unwinds the double helix, primase aids RNA primers, DNA polymerase 3 extends the chain, DNA polymerase 1 removes primers, ligase joins Okazaki fragments. Question 11. Linkage was discovered by its option B. T. H. Morgan. Explanation. T. H. Morgan discovered genetic linkage in Drosophila melanogaster fruit fly. He found their genes located on the same chromosome tend to be inherited together, don't assort independently. While acting Mendel's law of independent assortment, he also discovered sex linkage and made the first chromosome map, Nobel Prize in 1933. Question 12. Sickle cell anemia is caused by mutation in the genes encoding its option B beta globin chain of hemoglobin. Explanation. Sickle cell anemia results from a point mutation in the HBB genes encoding the beta globin chain of hemoglobin. Glutamic acid GAG is repaired by valine GTG and position 6. This makes hemoglobin SHBS polymerize under low oxygen, causing RBCs to become sickle-shaped. It's an autosomal recessive disorder and provides partial protection against malaria in heterozygotes. At the end, here are some key formulas and mnemonics. To memorize: ecology 10% energy transfer, Lindman, pyramid of energy always upright, eutrophication, nutrients pollution, primary succession, bare rock, tundra is equal to permafrost plus lichens, cytology में mitosis 2 identical diploid cells, meiosis 4 unique haploid cells, 80s ribosomes eukaryote, 70s ribosomes prokaryote, S-shaped DNA replication, genetics में Jargus A is equal to T, G is equal to C, Down syndrome is equal to trisomy 21, hemophilia is equal to X-linked recessive, test cross multiply by homozygous recessive, one gene, one polypeptide, Bedell and Totem. So that's all for today. In next video, we will cover another topic for the TGT biology or another competitive exams and for the M.Ed and B.Ed exams. Thank you and stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, share and like.